Hello everyone, it's your Prince of the Saiyans here, and I got a very special video for all of you today for Thanksgiving. Well, it's before Thanksgiving when this video is going up, but still, for an early Thanksgiving video for all of you, I would like to break character and tell you guys how I became Prince Vegeta and a voice actor. This is a little special video. I'm just going to be doing my normal voice because I want to talk to you people as an actor and how I became the Prince of the Saiyans. So I'm going to go all the way back. Before I even thought about voice acting, I had tried to do YouTube a long time ago when I was 14 years old. And I was always infatuated with acting as an art form. I always loved acting. I would watch movies and I would just watch little key things and just kind of pick up on acting that way. That was kind of my teaching. I had done acting when I was a kid. I did a couple plays. But unfortunately, acting wasn't a thing that I could actively pursue where I live. I live in a rural town. And so it was never really that many opportunities to do much of anything. So I would always just watch movies. That would be my way to teach myself, educate myself on acting. I would just do that. Those were my acting classes in a sense, because when I was a kid, you know, I would watch anime and cartoons and I would do voices. I would do the voices of characters. Like when I was a kid, I remember I would watch Gohan, talk, and I'd see him talk, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be Gohan when I grow up," and I would do the voice. I would do the voice and talk. Sometimes I would actually turn down the volume, because I'd have VHS tapes. Remember those days, VHS tapes, and I would turn the sound off, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat you, Cell," and I would have my dad pretend that he was Cell, and I'd be, yeah, I'd be doing all that stuff, and it was very drove my dad mad, but I would just role play a lot as a kid. A story that I would like to mention before I get into more of how I progressively got into voice acting is when I was in kindergarten, I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and a little FYI for you guys, Gohan is my favorite character and always has been. But Vegeta is my second favorite, but I hated Vegeta a lot at first when I was little. I hated him until the Android arc because I just thought he was an asshole and a prick, and I was, I related more to Gohan because I was actually more like Gohan behind the mic. I'm actually more like him in a lot of ways. I don't like to fight. I fight, but if you mess with my loved ones or my family or my friends, then, I'm not going to have any of that. But essentially, I just related to Gohan. But anyway, I remember watching the Cell around when Vegeta is fighting Cell, and I remember how he was like, "Watch as I knock that smile off that ugly face," and he was saying something like that. I remember some bully was beating up a friend of mine at the fucking playground at recess, and I remember walking up to him, and I got in my Vegeta voice at the time, and I was like, "I'm gonna knock that smile off that ugly face," and I was doing the pose and everything, and these guys were looking at me like I was crazy. It was pretty wild, but then I beat the shit out of him, so it was great. But, I would just role play a lot as a kid, so it was kind of a thing that I did way before. But to talk about how I got into acting, essentially what happened is that I tried YouTube before, and when I was 14, as I said earlier, I tried to make little movies, homemade movies that I tried to do, and they had no plot. I didn't write them. It was just some random ad-libbing bullshit. They were horrible. I watch them now and I'm so embarrassed that I made some of this shit. It's so horrible. You can tell that I had no maturity at all. It was so immature. It was horrible. But then years went by. I didn't get any views on it on YouTube. I think I got the most I ever got was 100 views at the time. And I was like, "Oh yeah, 100 views. Yay!" And I kind of gave up YouTube for a while. And around that time, I remember going through YouTube and I saw this thing called Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And I thought, what is this abridged? I was like, what is that? So I click the video. I watch it. I laugh out I laughed pretty hard. Not too hard though, but I laughed.
I thought it was cool. And I think this was around 2008, if I remember correctly. And I didn't watch episode 2. I don't even know if they had episode 2 out at the time, but I don't remember actually going to look for the episode. And I know a lot of you are like, what? Why didn't you watch more of the fucking shit? You know, at the time, I think I was just, more focused on other things. But I remember I watched it. I liked it. But I kind of like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know, it didn't really stick with me, what I had just found, you know. Years go by and I'm 17 now. And, I'm still getting good with editing. I'm using Windows Movie Maker. I know if you're an editor, that's like the worst thing ever. But that's how I got my start. So eventually after, I started to really look around for Dragon Ball Z things. I would look up Unreal Entertainment Gaming, Quaman. You know, I watched a lot of other Dragon Ball Z YouTubers, but those two were the most paramount, at the time. And, I remember very vividly, seeing Dragon Ball Z abridged again. And I was like, wow, I remember that. And the only thing that I remembered from Dragon Ball Z abridged at the time was the bow chicka wow wow joke thing. And, so I clicked it. And I watched it again and I really laughed and I said, wow, there's a lot more episodes. And I saw where someone had actually uploaded season 1 and season 2. I said, wow, there's 2 seasons of this. So I watched the episodes and, I remember laughing so hard and I loved each and every episode. My love for every episode just kept growing and growing. And when we got to the whole Nappa thing, I remember just laughing my ass off at the whole Vegeta, it's a Pokemon. You know, that whole thing. It was really funny to me. And then we got to other arcs, and then the Frieza arc came, and you had to, you know, I feel like we've been here before. Have we been here before? And, you know, it just got more and more funny. And, I think they only had 2 seasons out at the time. Maybe they had started on season 3. I can't remember. But I remember after I finished season 2, I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing. You can actually do this? Because I realized that the people that had done it were just regular people. And they were like, well, voice acting's a thing you could do. And you could make it an abridged series and you can make great content out of something you love. And I was like, wow. So I was kind of in a high. I was like, wow, that's cool. So I started to look up a lot more fan-related things like fan dubs. I remember looking around and I saw all these different fan dubbing groups. I watched the episode of Bardock. If you guys are familiar with episode of Bardock, the English dub, it's actually a fan dub made by fans for fans. Yes, and I'm actually good friends with the guy who plays Bardock in that. So I watched that and I was like, wow, this is so professional. It's so cool. And I started to get these ideas in my head. And then after that, I watched a fan dubber known by the name of Elka-chan, and she was really good at Sakura. At the time, she was a really big fan dubber, and she did tremendously well. So I kind of got inspired by her. She became a hero, and Team 4 Star was a hero too. And I started to really, after watching these and watching all these other fan dubs, I started to get the idea, I can do that. So I had a laptop at the time that I didn't have a mic. I had an internal mic. You know, the laptop mic that's embedded inside of the laptop? That's what I had. So I had an idea. I remember I had the Goku Go Super Saiyan, and I was gonna fan dub it. I know, right? But the mic was horrible. It sounded like ass poop shit. It was disgusting. So I record myself as Goku for the first time, and I'm having fun with it. I'm getting excited. And then as I'm recording it, I start to get this feeling in my heart, like, wow, this is something amazing, you know? And after I was finished recording, I didn't have sound effects, so the only thing I had was music. I had Bruce Faulkner's music, and I had the actual footage. So what I did was, I edited my voice together. I think I added like an echo effect to my scream for the Super Saiyan transformation, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, I fell in love, you know? And I didn't upload that specific one to YouTube, but I would watch it over and over and over and over. And I was like, that's me. So then I started to say, all right, I need sound effects. So I looked up for Dragon Ball Z sound effects and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it right this time. But I didn't want to do the Goku Goes Super Saiyan thing. I did the Kaioken times 20. I did that whole scene. It's by the way, I did follow the Kai dialogue. I thought the Kai dialogue was way better. You know, I did the whole less than 50% or not. If I pull off a Kaioken times 20, I at least stand a chance. After I did that fan dub, I uploaded it. I sound effected. I said, I'm uploading this to YouTube. Upload it to YouTube. And at the time, I had no real goal. I just wanted to have fun. And I upload the first video. It gets 200 views. I'm like, wow! And, you know, at the time, I know, it's crazy. But at the time, that was such a big deal to me. I was like, oh my God. I had comments, people talking about how I sounded like Sean Schimmel, and I thought that was crazy because just so you guys know, I don't ever impersonate Schimmel when I do Goku. I never have. I would always just do my own thing with Goku. And the same thing with Gohan, adult Gohan, by the way. I would always do my own thing. I would just do whatever. And, people were like, you sound like Sean! And I got a comment from this guy named Majin Dracanos, 2008, or just Majin Dracanos, whatever he goes by. He changes his name a lot, but, he commented and he said, wow, you have a lot of talent. And he was a Goku at the time. And he was very, celebrated for Goku. And another guy who is probably, in my opinion, the greatest Goku on the internet in terms of sounding like Sean Schimmel, Sonic for Brawl. And he was really highly celebrated as a Sean Schimmel Goku. So I messaged him one day. And I said, hey, you're a really good Goku. I would like to know your opinion on this. Because if he thinks I'm good, maybe I should pursue it. And he listened to it. He thought it was really good. He felt that I had potential. And I had a lot of, you know, energy. And I remember getting that and I was like, this can be a thing. People like what I do, you know, and I was getting hypey, you know, I was getting hype, I was getting happy. So then I got right into the next fan dub. I was like, I'm doing Teen Gohan. But at the time, I didn't know how I was going to change the voice because at first I didn't really know how to change my voice, guys. I just did whatever. I did my normal voice. And I kind of changed it a little bit, but I didn't really know how to really work my vocal cords at the time. So, and a little FYI, when I was a kid, I had a very raspy voice, so I know how to kind of fluctuate raspy voices. So then I do the Gohan Go Super Saiyan 2. That was the scene that I was so hyped for. I did that, and I did the whole speech, and after that, the next fandub, you know, it would be another fandub, another fandub, another fandub. Then eventually, I got to the point where I did Vegeta. I know, I never thought I could do Vegeta. So this is the thing. I never visualized myself impersonating Chris Sabat, and never that I think I could even remotely do his voice. So what I did is I looked at Lanny Pator's Vegeta, and I kind of like practiced that a bit. I was like, you know, cause Lanny's, Vegeta isn't so much raspy, it's very clean. The difference between my Vegeta and Lanny's Vegeta is, isn't that right, black man? Isn't that right, black man? See, there's a difference in, raspiness and gravel. So I would kind of practice his Vegeta because it was less constricting, and I kind of added a little rasp to it. And, then I started to really rewatch Dragon Ball, and I listened to Chris Sabat's, because I didn't feel like I could do Chris Sabat's lower Vegeta, his current Vegeta. I was like, no way, I don't have that deep of a range. So I'm just looking at the Cell Saga, where he was kind of impersonating the old dub. I was like, to the Cell Saga, I was going back to the Android Saga when he was still impersonating Brian Drummond, but he was starting to add a little bit of his own flair to it. And I thought, maybe if I do the high-pitched Vegeta, you know, the one that's a little bit more high-pitched and around here. And, you know, the whole, you know, tell me, do androids like yourself ever experience fear? That range. And after that, I started to work with Vegeta a little bit, but I rarely did Vegeta. Primarily on YouTube, I was known as the Goku guy. I was really highly sought after to do Goku. I was never really sought out to do Gohan that much, very few times, but mainly just Goku and never Vegeta. I was never even looked at as Vegeta, okay? I was just, no. And I never thought my Vegeta was that bad, in my personal opinion. I never thought it was the worst Vegeta. I've heard a lot of people do Vegeta, and most of the time it's ass. But I'm not saying that I wasn't poop. I mean, compared to now, I was horrible. But then I ran upon a channel called Cool Keith Productions. And how I ran upon the channel is because if you look up DBZ fan dubs, you get Dragon Ball Z redubs, which was done by the fabulous Cool Keith. And to give you guys a little info, Cool Keith Productions is kind of like a parody. It's kind of like an abridged series, but instead of actually adding anything editorial wise, you're working with the same lip flaps and you're just matching the lip flaps in the footage and you're just kind of changing the dialogue already. You're not actually editing the lip flaps. You're just, oh, that's the lip flap, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I want to say this, So I messaged Cool Keith and I was like, hey, I'm good at Goku and Gohan. If you ever need Goku and Gohan, I would love to work with you. And he told me I have a Goku and Gohan. And I was like, oh, man, Goku, I was like, whatever. But I'm a big Gohan fan, like I said. And I thought my Gohan was the shit. I really did. So I was like, oh, who got Gohan? And just, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, okay, cool. But if you ever need any voice for anything, I'd be more than happy to do it. Because I really thought what he was doing was cool. And he cast me as Yamcha. Believe it or not. And I still had this shitty mic, by the way, guys. And he cast me as Yamcha, and I didn't really have a line. All I had to do was scream like a little bitch. I was like, wow. And the first video I did with him was my favorite scene in Dragon Ball Z was Gohan going Super Saiyan 2. So, the Cell Jr. comes in and he hits Yamcha in there. I'm like, no, whatever. And I'm just screaming. And then the video it gets like a good bit of views. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. This is so awesome. People are listening to me, and I'm just so fangasming. And eventually what happens is that we do more and more fan dubs, and time goes by, and at some point I do get another mic, and it's not the Blue Yeti yet, but I get a mic that's a rock band mic. And it doesn't have a pop filter because everyone would always complain, you're so good, but your mic sounds like shit. So I was like, okay, I gotta get something. So I found like this karaoke rock band mic thing that I found laying around in my dad's basement. So I get it, right? And I don't have a pop filter. So I use the mic, but it's like, to give you guys a very, I'm gonna remove the filter from my mic. It sounded like this when I would talk. So, essentially, every time I would hit a pa, it would be, it would do that. And, so it got better, but it came with its own price. So I did more fan dubs at this time. I'm thinking to myself, all right, I need to have goals. I need to have goals here. So my goals, I never wanted to do professional voice acting. I never thought about, I'm going to do this for money. No. I wanted to be in Dragon Ball Epsilon, and I wanted to work with Team 4-Star at some point. That was my goals going into it. At this juncture, those were my dreams, goals, whatever I set for myself. And I kind of joked, I said, I'll never get there, but those are the goals. So, I do more and more fan dubs, and I do other projects, mostly fan dub related. I did want to do abridged stuff. Then later down the line, I get casted as Scourge and Slapper in a Transformers abridged, by Team Unlimited. It was the first abridged thing that I ever had done. I was very proud of it. I did this Slapper voice, and then I kind of did my Vegeta. So what happened then, after that episode, I was like, okay, I need a Yeti. I need to be professional. I want my stuff to sound good. So I get the Blue Yeti and a pop filter, and things change. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? With the new mic, I'm going to redub Goku going Super Saiyan. I remember recording those lines. I remember editing it, and it just was godly. Just the quality difference. It was amazing, and it looked good. Everyone's commenting and saying it was one of the best dubs I had ever done, and etc., etc., etc. I would do more and more fan dubs. And then at some point, I start to do my own look parodies in a way, but I didn't know how to lip flap or anything like that. So I kind of did what Cool Keith would do and work with the lip flaps that they gave originally. So I remember this is horrible and so cringeworthy, but I remember doing Trunks killing Android 17 and 18, and I actually did 18's voice. I did a girl's voice, and it's so horrible. It sounded like Little Karibo status, bro. I sounded like Taya. It's horrible. But I do like a couple of lines, and if I remember right, the dialogue was like, I come in as Trunks. I'm like, you think this is a game? Well, then fine. Then you're the white girl, and I'm Kobe Bryant. And it was horrible. I know what you guys are thinking, but I remember just coming up with some of the most ghetto fucking shit. And then I remember doing Future Gohan versus Android 17 and 18 with Future Trunks also. And I remember, you know, the scene where Trunks is held by 18 by the shirt, and he's kind of dangling, and he says, "You witch." I said, "Oh, there ain't no way I'm saying you witch." I remember saying, "You ratchet bitch," and it was so funny. People would call it Ghetto Ball Z, apparently, at the time. They called my shit Ghetto Ball Z when I do parodies. And then I quit doing parodies in general. Well, like, you know, fan-dub parodies. I call them little parodies. But I quit doing those and started to really focus on just doing regular fan-dubs. Then at some point, I get a message from Melavelli, who is the animator for Dragon Ball Epsilon. And I had done a little background here. I did a fan dub of Dragon Ball Epsilon, and he saw it. He emailed me. I don't know how he got my email, but he emailed me and he said, "I like your stuff." And I was like, oh, you know, my heart's beating. I'm like so excited. And he's like, "Would you like to play Trunks?" And I was like, "Trunks?" I mean, I was excited, but I was like, "Trunks?" Out of all the characters, I expected him to say he wanted me to play Gohan, Goku, or someone else, but Trunks? Okay. You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna say no. So I get Trunks and Gotenks. I recorded for them, and then I start to show up my work. I was like, "Oh, this is me doing Goku going Super Saiyan 3, and I'm doing those screams for like 6 minutes, and my vocal cords are not breaking. How?" You know, you know, essentially. So I'm showing him my stuff, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're so good. How'd I miss you?" And I was like, "I don't know." So, eventually I get cast as, you know, Trunks and all these other characters, Bobbity, and I'm so happy. And, then afterwards, I do, you know, fans would always, I didn't have a lot of subscribers, guys. I'd been doing fan dubs for 4 years, and I only had around 500 subs. And believe me, I know what a gift it is to have 36K right now. At the time, that was a big thing for me. And I remember everyone would always comment on my videos, "You need to do Vegeta's Final Atonement. You need to do Vegeta's Final Atonement." And I was so scared to do it. And at this time, my Vegeta had kind of matured a bit. It was around Lanny's range. And then I said, you know what? Maybe I should try to do Vegeta's deeper voice. So in that dub, I did try my best to do my version of Chris Sabat. And I fucking did tremendously well. I'm not gonna lie. And people were commenting and saying it was amazing. Your Vegeta's great. The best fan dub you've ever done. Etc, etc. And then I think to myself, wow, I'm good at Vegeta then. It kind of led to a point where I wanted to make my Vegeta a little different from Chris and Lanny. So what I did is my range, my tone, I kind of like Lanny's tone a little bit, but I thought it was a little too light. So I would kind of mix elements of Chris Sabat and Lanny that I liked, and I made my own little baby. And that's my Vegeta that I normally do for you guys. When I'm imitating Chris, you can tell a big difference in my voice. You can just tell there's a big difference in structure. But normally the Vegeta that you guys get is like my own baby that I got from listening to both of those guys, and I came up with my own little version. Because the biggest thing is I want to be my own Vegeta. I want you to hear my Vegeta and say, that's his Vegeta. That's not Lanny or Chris, you know? Then, essentially what happened after I got in Epsilon, I met this guy who is known by YouTube now as Stewie Griffin. I met him. I know, guys. He, he saw some of my fan dubs and I saw some of his, and we would talk, and he added me to a group of a Skype group, and a lot of these people were really good, big, professional voice actors. And, they weren't like huge or anything, like, oh yeah, Damian Clark. No. But it was maybe semi-pro would be a better word, I guess, at the time, but now they're big pro actors. But the thing is that they were so much better than me, and I'm like, wow, these people are cool. And then I run into the guy who voiced Bardock and that, the fan dub that I spoke of earlier. And I'm just so mind boggled. Wow, this is so cool. And one of the guys was friends with, one of the Team 4-star members, Megami 33. And it was so cool. And I was like, whoa, and I was like, wow, this is a new world. And I kind of learned things from them. And I met Lord Frieza, who you guys know. And the thing is, just a little FYI for you guys that don't know, is when I met him, I really liked Lord Frieza. Me and him built a really good friendship. And eventually what we would do is we'd talk about Dragon Ball Z, or talk about our love for acting, talk about Sean Schemmel, who's a big hero to me, and Chris Sabat, who's a big hero to me and him as well. And we just talk about everybody. And I remember we would always see Lord Frieza. He loved and still loves Vegeta. He would do Vegeta, and he would just, oh yeah, I'm the Prince of Saiyans and all this. I can't really do his Vegeta, but he would do Vegeta and just be like, oh yeah, I'm the Prince of all Saiyans, and it's blah blah blah. It was really funny. And then I would get in role play with him as Vegeta too. And I remember one time we were playing I think it was Xenoverse, and this was before we had made our character channels. And we were just sitting around, and we were just like, oh yeah, I'm Vegeta. And he's doing his thing. I'm Vegeta. And I was like, well, I'm Vegeta too. And we were just like, oh yeah, me. Oh yeah, me. And then we were just doing this whole thing back and forth. And I remember I said, oh yeah, we should totally fuse and become Super Vegeta. Yeah, we should have the me. Oh my God. I've got the biggest boner right now. Or some shit like that. And, eventually, what ended up happening is I became aware of sites like Voice Acting Alliance and Casting Call, and behind the voice actors. I would mainly audition for professional paid work, like video games, visual novels, etc. And we both would do it. And honestly, if I hadn't met those people, I probably wouldn't be where I am. Maybe I might be doing paid stuff, but I definitely wouldn't be as successful as I am now, because one thing that's very important is to always be around people that are better than you so you can learn. There was another guy, like I said, there was another guy in the group who goes by Stewie on YouTube, and he did a really good Linda Young Frieza, and he was kind of the Frieza of the group. And then eventually at some point, I kind of figured out that I could do a decent Chris Arias, and I'd kind of do, yes, I'm Lord Frieza, you all sin monk, you are monkeys, and blah, 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 I just do Lord Frieza all the day, But I would fuck around with Lord Frieza a bit, and I remember he would do Vegeta and be like, you're just a sand monkey, you little scum, whatever. We'd roleplay every now and then. I wouldn't do Frieza that much, but it was just some funny shit that we would do. One day we were in call, and he was like, oh man, I can do Lord Frieza, look, I am Lord Frieza, And I was like, oh my God, that's great. And he started doing it, and then we started doing casting call trolls. And just so you know what casting call trolls is, it's like, alright, like if someone makes a project on casting call and they say, oh, we're looking for this, blah, 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 blah. And on casting call, sometimes they ask for people to make erotic noises like, oh, make a I'm coming noise. Oh, and there was a project that was very similar to that he went on and trolled as Lord Frieza. Like, oh yes, take the vitamin T. He didn't really say vitamin T, but he was just trolling. And, he was like, you need to get on in this, you need to do this. And, I would troll a little bit with them. essentially what happened is that one day, I remember very vividly, he was in his Frieza mode and he was just doing old Frieza, and then I came in as the motherfucking prince of all the goddamn Saiyans here, and I started to do it, and essentially, we talked about this idea, wouldn't it be funny if Vegeta and Frieza were both in chairs, and they were both talking about why they hate each other, they would go back and forth and just dialogue, monologue or whatever. We just went back and forth, and I was like, you get fucked by fairies in hell, how does that feel? And he'd talk about, how's your daddy, Vegeta? I'm gonna fucking kill you and murder your fucking brother! And people in call were actually scared, because we did it for 5 hours without stopping! We did that for 5 hours in call with spectators. We were just bored, and we did it for 5 hours! People were laughing. Something inside of me and him just clicked. I didn't know what it was, but he knew. He's like, I'm going to make a Frieza channel. And I remember him telling me, dude, I'm going to make a Lord Frieza channel, and it's going to be so fucking fun. You need to make a Prince Vegeta channel. I was very against doing it myself. And he was like, come on, you need to do it. And I'm like, but Lanny Pator is doing Vegeta, for Renegade for Life. And, people are just going to say, oh, I'm copying Lanny Pator and another thing also, not just the copying thing, but more of just like, well, he's doing it now. So I'm not going to be that big, even if I did, so it's going to be, unsuccessful. And he was like, no, you need to do it. And I said, no. So a couple months, he does Frieza for a good while. And he starts to get a good bit of subs. And he's like, you need to make your channel now. I was like, fuck it, fine. I'll do it. I'll make a damn Vegeta channel. So you guys owe Lord Frieza that. Because he was really adamant for me to make a channel. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Finally, I'll do it. And I made the Vegeta channel. And I put a good couple of videos out. And it was fun. But I just didn't have the confidence in it. I didn't think people were really gonna like me. So I did a couple of videos and I left for 4 months and I didn't upload anymore. But people would always comment, make more, where are you? Are you dead? Or, and I think I don't remember how many subs I had, but my sub count would gradually grow and I got like 1,000 subs and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I hadn't uploaded videos in a while. And Lord Frieza was on my ass, just make more videos, you scum, you bitch. You need to make more videos, Vegeta. You little bitch, just on my ass. And, I eventually come back and I said, you know what? Fuck it, fine. And he's getting bigger. I think he had like close to 10K or something like that at the time. And I said to myself, you know what? Fuck it, fine. I'm back. I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna do it right this time. And I'm not gonna leave. So, but just so you guys know, when I did my first Let's Play, the whole vitamin D catchphrase was just something that came out of my mouth. And I just, the vitamin D, I'm gonna give that to you. And some of these catchphrases really stuck with you guys. The whole vitamin D thing is probably what I'm most known for. And I'm very happy about that. There's other catchphrases that I've said. And just so you guys know, the whole minority joke that I say, I'm not racist in real life. I have nothing against gay people. I have friends that are gay and black. Essentially, when I made Vegeta, my idea was to be as different as Lanny and Chris Sabat as I could, because if I was going to be Vegeta, I had to differentiate myself from those two, because if I didn't, people would just be saying, you just a copy of blah, 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 and I didn't want that. I wanted to be very unique, so I thought to myself, okay, what is Vegeta? He's an asshole, he's a dick, he's a bigot, he's a sexist, and he's probably racist because he kills green people. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make Vegeta the biggest asshole that the world has ever seen. Let me explain this very clearly. I'm not racist, but I'm playing a racist. I'm an asshole. I'm an actor, so I'm playing this guy. The main reason I want him to be, the best description I can give of my Vegeta, it's if Vegeta took cocaine and he got really high. He's very extreme. And I wanted my Vegeta to stand out. So that's just a little clearing up the air with a lot of you guys, because I know some of you are like, you make a lot of racist jokes. Well, I'm playing a racist. What do you expect? The wonderful world of acting! And during the whole Prince Vegeta thing, the whole hiatus, I was actually doing professional games. I'm in a game called Angels and Demigods, where I play the main character. It's a virtual reality visual novel game that you can get on Steam. There's only a demo out, So you guys, if you really want to go play it, go look it up on Steam, play it, and go fund the game if you like it, because that game could be made for you guys. Go to their Kickstarter, support them. You know, my real name is JB. That's my real name. And, you know, my old YouTube name was JBZ. A fan told me, because I would do so many voices by myself, he was like, you're like Chris Sabat. You're Chris Sabating all over the place. You're playing everyone. It's like, I like that, so I called myself JBZ. Thought that was really cool. But that's when I went by, and I still go on casting call as JBZ. Then I get like 20k subs, and I'm like, wow, this is so crazy, guys. That the rate I'm growing. I want you guys to think about this. In July of this year, July, I was at 1k. I'm at 36 plus. This is crazy. It's funny. I went to a Q&A panel, and I'm so fucking pissed that this happened, but my girlfriend was going to record, because I was going to go up in the Q&A, and I was going to go in and do my Vegeta voice and do a skit with Chris Sabat. I was going to get in the line, and my girlfriend, I said, hey, you record it, and she got my phone, she started recording, and I go up to Chris Sabat, and I can't remember everything I said verbatim, but I essentially was like, hello, other me. He was like, oh, hello. You know, he's doing his, and I was like, well, you know, and blah, blah, blah. We said some things. And then I said, I can't remember how it got to this point, but he was like, oh yeah, it's like I'm looking in a mirror. And I was like, oh yeah, but I have hair and you don't. It's weird. He was like, I was wearing this soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur, you know, the Big Bang shit. I was wearing a shirt like that. And he said, you and your soft kitty shirt. And I said, you and your beret. How's the 1920s, by the way? And, you know, we were insulting each other. And he was like, you guys should hear his real voice. You know, he's got a southern accent. He's just, yeah, you know, doing that thing. And, but he had seen my fan dubs. And just to let you guys know, the reason why that video is not up on YouTube is very simple. I get back from doing that whole skit with Chris Sabat. I'm like, oh my god, I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going to upload this on YouTube whenever I do my face reveal. Because I think at the time I was not at 9K yet. And just so you guys know, I have done a face reveal. If you haven't noticed, go look at the 9K special. It's my face. Even though some of you think it's fake, it's not. But, anywho, my girlfriend, you know, she recorded the thing, but guess what? She had her finger, to be more exact, was over the fucking phone mic. So there was no sound! I was so mad. I was like, I was just like, fuck! The only thing, she took her hand off the mic during the end where he was like, I really love your impression of me. He was like, and it was gone. I know you guys are like, this is hearsay. How do we believe him? Well, you don't have to. And just so another fun fact for you guys is that SSJ Carter, was a friend of mine before he even really became Carter. I remember before he had videos, he messaged me and he was like asking me, what kind of mic do you use? And blah, blah, you know, kind of asking little things here and there. And it was kind of cool because he really watched my videos. It's like, wow. And then I remember at one point, I was like, I wonder about that SSJ kid, that Carter kid. I want to see what's going on with him. Check his videos. He had, you know, this was still when I was just doing fan dubs. I wasn't doing Vegeta at the time. And he had like 100,000 views on a video. I was like, what? He's, wow. I'm proud of you, bro. He just blew up out of nowhere. And we've been friends for a very long time. So he's a very good friend of mine. But, you know, getting into where I'm at, I met Geekdom 101, who's a very good friend. Love his shit. He's a very funny fucking dude. He's a no bullshit kind of guy. Quaman, who's very cool to talk to. And then I met Amber, who is a very good friend. And then I met Maria, Miss DBZ Babe, who I had been a fan of for a long time. Always loved her work. Loved her little animated skits. I thought it was funny. And I remember thinking to myself, I would watch her stuff and I'd be like, I want to be Vegeta for her. Before I even met Prince Vegeta, I want to be Vegeta for her right there. You know, I want to do that shit for her. And eventually I did, ironically enough. But I know it's a lot of just, wow, your dreams are coming true out of nowhere. I get a message from Lord Frieza telling me, hey, bro, we're doing a video with Team 4 Star. Well, no, I think he said, hey, dude, are you sitting down? I was like, yeah, what's up? You know, me and Geekdom wrote a skit. we're going to be doing a video with Team 4 Star's Goku, Masako X. I was like, really? That's awesome. You know, I was happy for Lord Frieza, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's so amazing. He's like, yeah, you're going to be in it. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit. You know what? For me, because then I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And I was like, you know, that's all thanks to Lord Frieza. That was all thanks to Lord Frieza that I was in that video. And I remember after I talked to him, I kind of sat down and I thought to myself, wow, I accomplished my goals. Because my goals when I got into voice acting, get in Epsilon, work with Team 4 Star in some capacity. Guys, I did it. I achieved my dream. That's what's amazing, is that I had a goal, even though it was small. Maybe people think it was stupid, sure, but those were my goals, and I achieved them. You can too. If you have a dream or you have something that you want to make happen, no matter how small it is, no matter how people think it's funny or stupid or small, you can achieve it if you don't give up and you put all of your heart and soul into what you are doing or trying to achieve. You know, I'm sitting in reflection and I'm thinking to myself, wow, how far I've come. It's so crazy. I'm talking to you guys. I have 30,000+ fans. That's fucking crazy. I am here as Vegeta. I will never forget where I come from. I won't ever forget the people that helped me get to where I am. The people that encouraged me, inspired me, and helped me become a better person. I love and respect you all. I just wanted to make this video because I want all of you to realize that you can all do the same thing. And you know, to talk a little bit more is that when me and Lord Frieza made the character channels, we were like, okay, we're cool. You know, we were kind of the only other people doing it. Yeah, I think Turles had a channel that was under a character name, but he's not really a character channel so much because he doesn't really do, you know, an impression and staying in character. He's kind of just, you know, he's just named Turles. You know what I mean? And so me and Frieza kind of made it popular, I guess, at least in the DBZ community. And I remember someone made a video about the 7 types of Dragon Ball YouTubers, and it had me and Lord Frieza, and I was like, wow, we made a type? We invented a type? That's so rad, you know? And you know, and then eventually, you know, all these other character channels started to come out of the woodwork. We had this Trunks channel. You had this Goten channel, Piccolo. We have a Cyberman channel, Hercule channel, Majin Buu channel, Kid Buu, Fat Buu, Super Buu. And just every fucking... We have a Puar channel. A Puar channel, guys. What the fuck? You know, it's cool. I'm happy we're inspiring people. I love it. It's so amazing that we have inspired people to have a dream and a goal and a mindset to do something with themselves. And it's amazing. The only thing that I will say to some of you other character channels, if any of you are watching the video, is that try to differentiate yourselves from each other. That I did notice that a lot of the character channels had very similar thumbnail styles and art style. Very similar. I would suggest that you guys don't do that because that does hurt you in the long run because it looks too similar. You want to differentiate yourself and add your own style to each character channel. And I'm not telling you what to do, but I think it would help your channel and get you more views and help you get better. That's my advice to a lot of you. And I want you guys to know you don't have to do a spot-on impression to be a great character channel as long as you're entertaining. That's the main thing. You don't have to do a great impression, though it helps. I think it does anyway. But as long as you're funny and you're a great human being to watch and people love what you're saying, that's what matters. And that's my advice to all of you. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart because you've helped me do this for a living. In a sense, you've helped me just focus on acting, focus on being a goof, a fucking goof. I did Dragon Ball Z voices for 4+ years. It's coming on about 5 years now. I've been doing Dragon Ball Z voices. And for 4 years, I didn't do it for anything. Just for the pleasure of it. And now I'm doing it as a living. That is crazy. I'm just so astonished at where I've come in such a short time. And I have every one of you to thank for that. So, from the bottom of my heart, I love all of you. And I thank you for helping me get to where I am. And I think that's about all I have to say. This has been Behind the Mic with the Prince of Saiyans, Vegeta himself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it. Share it around with other people. If you have a dream, share it with people so they know that they can accomplish their dreams. And don't forget to subscribe for more of me, and you will get the D.